My parents told every employer in town that I was a thief. Within weeks, I couldn't get hired anywhere. Stores stopped calling back. Managers suddenly lost my application. For 2 years, my name became poison in my own hometown. My father said it was a lesson. He thought humiliation would make me obedient. What he didn't know was that my grandmother had already seen this coming, and she had prepared something that would change everything. My name is Pamela, and I'm 25 years old. I grew up in a small town where everyone knew everyone. At first, that sounds nice. Friendly neighbors, familiar faces, community. But what no one tells you is that in a town like that, rumors travel faster than truth. And once your reputation breaks, it spreads like wildfire. The trouble started the day my parents decided I needed to be taught a lesson. It began with something small. At least it should have been small. I was working part-time at a grocery store while saving money to move out. I had plans. Quite once. Nothing dramatic. Just my own place. My own life. But one evening, my mother stormed into my room holding her purse. Money is missing. I looked up from my laptop. What? $200, she said. I didn't take it. She didn't even hesitate. Don't lie. My father appeared in the doorway moments later. And somehow the decision had already been made. I was guilty. I tried explaining. I tried reasoning. But when my dad crossed his arms, I knew the conversation was over. If you think you're so grown up, he said coldly, then maybe the world should teach you a lesson. At the time, I thought he meant kicking me out. I had no idea how far he was willing to go. The next week, I was fired. My manager couldn't look at me. Budget cuts, he mumbled. But later, a co-worker pulled me aside. Your parents came in yesterday, she whispered. They said you were stealing. My stomach dropped. Surely that was a misunderstanding. Surely they wouldn't do that. Right? But they did. And they didn't stop. I applied to another store. Interview went great. Manager said they'd call. They never did. Another job. Same story. Another. And another. Eventually, one interviewer accidentally slipped. We heard some concerns about your honesty. That's when it clicked. My parents weren't just punishing me at home. They were destroying my reputation across the entire town. I confronted them that night. Dad didn't deny it. Not even a little. He leaned back in his chair and said something that still echoes in my head. Maybe now you'll learn to respect us. I remember standing there shaking. By ruining my life, he shrugged. By teaching you humility. For 2 years, I couldn't get hired anywhere. 2 years. I worked odd online gigs, freelance tasks, anything that didn't require local references. Meanwhile, my parents told everyone I was troubled, untrustworthy, difficult. Sometimes I wondered if maybe they believed it themselves. But the worst part wasn't the money. It was the isolation. In a small town, reputation is everything. And mine had been destroyed. Then one afternoon, everything changed. I got a call from my grandmother, my dad's mother. She lived in the neighboring city. We had always been close. She asked me a strange question. Pamela, do you still want to work? I laughed bitterly. Grandma, nobody here will hire me. There was silence on the phone. Then she said something unexpected. I thought that might happen. 2 weeks later, she asked me to visit. When I arrived at her house, she handed me a folder. Inside were documents. Legal ones. Business registration papers. Ownership contracts. I looked up, confused. What is this? Grandma smiled. Our company. My company. It turned out she had quietly started a small logistics service years earlier. Nothing huge. Just enough clients to stay active. But here was the part that shocked me. She had transferred ownership to me completely, legally, and then she told me the truth. She had always known my parents were controlling. She suspected one day they would try to break my independence. So she built a safety net, just in case. The first year was terrifying. Running a business at 23? I barely knew what I was doing. But slowly, clients grew. Then referrals came. Then contracts. Within 2 years, the company expanded beyond the small town. We hired employees, opened warehouses, built partnerships. And for the first time in my life, I felt free. Meanwhile, something interesting happened. Local businesses began hearing about the company, about the owner, about me. The same town that refused to hire me now wanted to work with me. One afternoon, my father walked into my office. He looked smaller than I remembered. Older. More tired. "I heard you're doing well," he said. I nodded. He hesitated. "Maybe we were too hard on you." Too hard. That's what he called it. 2 years of destroying my reputation. But the real moment came later. A local store owner approached me for a partnership. The same grocery chain that fired me years ago. He looked embarrassed. "We may have misjudged you." I smiled politely. "Actually," I said, "you believed exactly what my parents told you." Silence filled the room. Then I added something that felt like closure. But my grandmother believed something else. My parents tried to make sure no one would ever employ me. But because of my grandmother, I didn't need employment. I became the employer. And the same town that once whispered about me now worked for me. Sometimes the people who try to break you the most are the ones who accidentally push you towards something bigger. My parents thought they were teaching me obedience. But my grandmother? She taught me independence. If this story shocked you, hit the like button and subscribe. And tell me in the comments, if your parents did this to you, would you forgive them?